Hello and welcome to my Christmas edition of True Audiophiles for this year. Decided to do something a little different than I have done in the past, and it's the first time I'm actually going to try going through my Christmas record collection that I have. And how I'm kind of going to do it is, well, first off, Merry Christmas to those of you who celebrate Christmas, and Happy Holidays to the rest of you who celebrate other things. Wearing my cheesy and cheap Santa hat, which I think is probably my son's, and then my ugly Star Wars Christmas sweater to celebrate these times. But so basically what I've decided to do is I've kind of compiled my Christmas record collection, and I've kind of categorized them down to where I've got kind of the vintage classic records, if you will, which classic I usually consider like maybe mid-ish 60s and prior. And then I've got kind of the almost vintage maybe stuff that's kind of like in the 70s-ish. And then I've got kind of my compilation where I don't really know where to place them per se. And I also have a couple of jazz Christmas records that I've kind of put in here as well in their own category. And then I've got all the new stuff. So new being probably like maybe late 80s, early 90s onward. So, and then last, but certainly not least, I'm holding out to the end. I've got two different categories that I'm going to hold out to the end on. One is my favorite Christmas records of all times. There's like 8 or 9 of them, maybe 10. And then the ones that I'm either on the fence about whether I really like them or not. I really haven't had the opportunity to really listen to them well enough to really determine whether they're something I really like or not. And then one that clearly is not a good one, but I have to have it, and you'll understand why. A little bit of a hint, it has something to do with what's on my Christmas sweater. So anyway, I'm going to get started. I'm going to go relatively fast through all the different categories up until I get to my favorites and my on the fence and just definitely knows. Just because I've got so many different records here. So I'm going to kind of go to speed date, if you will, through all of these. So I'm going to start off with the new-ish Christmas records. And a lot of these I haven't honestly spent enough time with either, so they could be potentially in that category of I haven't really determined yet whether I like them or not, so, but not all of them. So first one I've got here is I've got Squirrel Nut Zippers Christmas. It's Christmas Caravan. So got that. A lot of these I've actually gotten during Black Friday, Christmas, Black Friday record store days. So this one I'm going to try to take out just so you can see it. It's King Diamond, No Presents for Christmas. I'm going to put it back in so it doesn't get damaged, but it was hard to see in the inner sleeve that I have it in because it makes it very unclear there to see what it is. Next up, this one is one I definitely want to spend a little bit more time with, but it's Seth MacFarlane and Holiday for Swing, or yeah, Holiday for Swing. Okay. He's got a great voice, and I think he does a pretty decent job on the classics, but I really need to spend a little bit more time with it. This one, it is Carrie Underwood and My Gift. Then I've got two from Casey Musgraves. I've got one from her Christmas show, basically the soundtrack to her Christmas show. And then I've got a very Casey Christmas. I got this one that was autographed, and then I've got a standard one as well. This one I definitely want to spend some more time with because I have to admit that I had never really taken Elf all that seriously as a great Christmas movie, and over the past couple years I've come to realize that it is a great and classic and can be considered a classic even though it's like from the 90s, I think it is, or actually I guess it's early 2000s, but anyways, I guess it's 2003, I'm sorry. But anyway, here's the soundtrack to Elf. There's a couple things on here that I'm not sure quite fit the Christmas theme, but most of it's very well Christmas themed. This one might make it into my favorite Christmas records of all times because it's just so well done, and it's very interesting, and a lot of you will probably laugh at it, me even considering it to be in that. But Twisted Sister, A Twisted Christmas, they do such a great job of kind of combining their musical styles and songs with Christmas music. I just think they did such a spectacular job of it. But anyway, I have got Selena Carpenter's Fruitcake, and that one's a decent one. This one's one of my my favorites for semi-easy listening slash borderline. I guess it's technically jazz, but Diana Krall, Christmas songs. We've got one that's probably one of my wife's more favorite of the newer ones, which is Michael Bublé, Bublé Christmas. Got this one actually is a pretty good one. I don't know if it'll ever reach one of my favorites of all time, but I think it's a really cool one. And it's from Cheap Trick, one of my favorites, Cheap Trick Christmas. Or Cheap Trick Christmas. This one, I think most people who at least like Christmas music and aren't get off my lawn types just have come to despise it because they've heard it so much, have to have it in their collection. And I still think it's a great one no matter how many times I've heard it. And that's Mariah Carey's Christmas album. And no, I didn't buy the one-step, really high-end, expensive audiophile version. I don't think that I would ever listen to that in that level. This one's a very cool one. This is borderline one of my favorites as well. And shame she's no longer with us, but Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings. I actually it's an autographed copy of this one, but this is a really cool soul kind of Christmas album. Next one up is Gwen Stefani's Christmas album, You Make It Feel Like Christmas. This is one of the deluxe edition versions of the album. Next one up is another one of my favorites, kind of semi-easy listening, jazz-ish artists, and that's Norah Jones. I Dream Christmas, special red version of that. This one is actually very borderline on being one of my favorites as well. It's becoming more and more. I listen to it quite often at Christmas time, and that's Rob Halford. Celestial. I've actually got a couple of his other Christmas albums, just not on vinyl. It's hard to see, but this one's actually been autographed. And the one I really like about this version, and I've got two versions. I think the other one I have is a black vinyl, but I really, really like this one because it's hard to really see what it's like on camera. You have to see it in person to see what it's really like. But I mean the coloring on this, it's a gold. Coloring is just amazing, and I love the look of these. There's several records I have that are similar to this, maybe in different colors, like a silver and like an opalescent as well, that are really cool, that kind of have that coloring, that are awesome. But anyway, so that's Rob Halford. This one I really haven't given it enough time to listen to, and I really want to listen to it more because I really love him and his voice, and I think his voice is really well suited for Christmas stuff, and that's John Legend. And a little spoiler that this is kind of a take on one of my favorite Christmas album covers of all, or an old vintage Christmas album that is in my favorites list. So I think the back cover is kind of fun as well. And all right, so these are kind of the 70s-ish and maybe late 60s-ish ones that are in here. I've got, and maybe even early 80s. But anyways, Oak Ridge Boys Christmas. I actually haven't even really listened to that one yet, if I'm being honest. This one I don't know if I listened to on record. I just got it because it's silly and fun, and it's sort of kind of almost borderline on a classic, but Chipmunks Christmas, it's got a foil covered version of this one. And now we've got, this one is actually I think one of my son's favorites, and it is Beach Boys Christmas. I actually have, I think this is the reissue, and this is kind of an early pressing of it as well. This one is very borderline on getting into one of my favorites of all times as well. I just love it. Although I think there's another one that I like that's a little bit better by him, but it's a James Brown, A Soulful Christmas. But Santa Claus Goes Straight to the Ghetto, and Santa Claus are just so awesome. A lot of these are just really, really cool, but Santa Claus Go Straight to the Ghetto is, in my opinion, just a classic Christmas song. It's so awesome. All right, these are my two that I've kind of classified as jazz, even though there's a couple other ones like Norah Jones and Diana Krall ones that probably could be, and even maybe the Seth MacFarlane and maybe some of the other ones. But anyway, this one definitely is jazz, and it was part of the classic vinyl series, I think, a couple years ago. But it's Duke Pearson, Merry Old Soul, which is it's a really good one. And this one, I don't think you could have a Christmas, if you don't have any Ella in your Christmas, you really should. This is an awesome one, and this is actually a acoustic sound series, so this was basically done by Analog Productions. It's a great sounding one as well. All right, so here are what I would kind of classify as my classic records. You know, when I say classic, it's probably like mid-60s-ish and earlier. So first up is Perry Como. I've actually got a couple of different versions of this one, Season's Greetings. And here's another Perry Como. It's a different Perry Como album. I'm going to have to change this up. So this one was an interesting one, and I actually really like both versions of this, both covers, because there's two different colors, and covers, I should say, and you should see why. You'll see why in a second. But this is actually the newer version, but it's basically the Boston Pops and Pops Christmas Party. And I think this is the first version, and you could sort of kind of understand why they may have changed it for modern people. But this was, I believe, is the original album cover of it. But this is actually, if you like Boston Pops, it's really a cool Christmas album. So this one I struggled, and I really thought I should put this into my top, but it doesn't quite get there. There's one song specifically that I really love about this, but the rest of the album is only so-so. And that's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer with Burl Ives. So it's from, you know, the TV show. I've got two versions of it, actually. I think I have three versions. I don't know where my other one is, but I know I have a reissue of that somewhere. But then there are, I have, well, 2.5 Frank Sinatra albums, or maybe even three, almost three. But, you know, I've got Frank Sinatra Christmas album. I have this one, which is a newer reissue, Ultimate Christmas. And then I have this one, which is 12 Songs of Christmas, but it's basically Bing Crosby, Frank Sinatra, and Fred Waring. Next one, these ones are all kind of super cheesy ones most of the way, and actually this one was actually a Goodyear. I guess if you bought tires, you got this, but Mancini Moods at Christmas Time. I have Percy Faith Christmas Time. I think if you go to any Goodwill or any thrift store that has a bunch of cheap albums, you'll probably find that one. This one is kind of nice. Luciano Pavarotti, Oh Holy Night. This one, I find this one really funny. This one is Robert Goulet's Wonderful World of Christmas, but I think what really stands out on this one is the girl in the bottom corner here. She almost looks like she's scared to be on the album cover. This one is borderline as being one of my favorites as well, and it's, I really struggled, and it probably should belong in there, but there's really only one that I think song on here that's definitely a classic, and all the rest of them are very, very, very good, and that is Brenda Lee, Merry Christmas. This is actually a early pressing. I don't know about a first, but it's an early pressing anyway. Then I've got a couple of Elvis. I think, one is a reissue, and then one is an early pressing of one. But basically, you've got Elvis Sings Christmas Songs, and then this one is a reissue, Merry Christmas Baby. Blue Christmas by Elvis is definitely a classic. This one's a fun one. I really actually love a couple of the songs he does. It's Buck Owens' a Christmas album. What's it called? Oh, A Merry Hee-Haw Christmas. But I think the song is Daddy Looks a Lot Like Santa or something like that. Just a funny and fun Christmas song. My camera might be a little off center now, so I apologize about that. But I got so little room here. But anyway, this one is a Living Stereo Tchaikovsky Nutcracker Suite, which it's a given for a Christmas title for sure. This one's kind of fun. It's Chet Atkins Christmas. So basically guitar instrumentals for the most part. This one I really need to listen to. I bought it and I was really excited when I found it, but I don't know. I actually have not listened to it yet, and I really need to, but it's Christmas Time with the Three Stooges. Definitely one I think I need to put on today after this video. This one is borderline awesome. There's definitely a couple of songs that are great on here, but Happy Holiday, the Christmas season, and It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year, Andy Williams style. Those two are classics for sure. This is borderline being one of those that's my favorites of all times. All right, the next set of albums here are ones that I didn't really have a good place to put them. They could fall, some of them anyways, could fall into multiple different categories, but they're kind of basically compilations to a certain extent, although one of them probably isn't. But anyway, this one I think you're going to either love or hate it. It's old school rap. It's called Christmas rap, but Christmas Time in Holland's Queens is amazing. But there's a couple of other ones that I really like on here as well. But you know, definitely the Run DMC Christmas Time in Holland's Queens is the classic one on here. I think I have a couple of different ones of theirs, but for some reason I could only have one of them in here. But it's Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Like I said, I think I have a couple of different albums of theirs. Saw them in concert probably 8-10 years ago or so. This one's a really fun one that I haven't listened to enough, in my opinion, but it's Dr. Demento's Greatest Novelty Records of All Times for Christmas. It's part of the Greatest Novelty Records of All Times box set. And this one is Now That's What I Call Merry Christmas. This is a really good compilation of great Christmas songs, both past and present. Here are the ones that are still, the jury is still out yet on whether I really like them or not, and I'm not sure if I'm even going to keep them or not. One I definitely shouldn't keep, but I have to just for the collectability and because of the subject matter on it. But anyways, this one I need to listen to a little bit more, and it's Reverend Horton Heat, We Three Kings. I can't remember, I think there was a Vinyl Community guy that on YouTube that recommended this as one of his favorites, and I think I've listened to it once, and I'm still not sure yet. Next one is Billy Idol, Happy Holidays. And by the way, all of these that have shrink wrap on them, they have been opened, so I know I get that every once in a while in the comments sections. I tend to, for better or worse, keep the shrink wrap on a lot of the times. But anyway, this one I listened to all the way through once last year, which is when I first got it, and really wasn't a huge fan of it. I started listening to it again this year, or I've listened to a few of the tracks again this year. I think the big thing for me was I was hoping for and expected maybe a little bit more of an edgy Christmas album, but I got more of a traditional Christmas album from Billy Idol, and it's really not what I was hoping for or expecting from him. So, but, you know, I still need to listen to it a little bit more because it might grow on me. But as of right now, I'm kind of on the fence on that one. This one I got just this year. I got it as a special clearance, and you'll probably be able to see the clearance tag on it. And I've only listened to the one of the 4 sides that are on here, and so far I just have not liked it. But I love this artist. But it's Steve Perry, the Season 3. And, you know, I really need to probably listen to it a little bit more, but the first side was just so boring and unexciting. But I think I need to listen to it more. Maybe it'll grow on me. Maybe the other sides are better. So we'll see about that. All right. Last, but certainly not least, is one that I just am not a big fan of. Except for the subject matter at hand. So I had to get it. I paid a decent price for it, not ridiculous, but I basically, because of the condition it was in, I got it for a little bit more than I probably, well, definitely more than I should have. But anyways, I solely got it for the content or the subject matter. And that is, I think if you're a Star Wars fan, you kind of have to have this, and that's Christmas in the Stars. A Christmas album. basically has Anthony Daniels singing and talking most of the way through this. It's just not good, but it's Star Wars, so having to be in Star Wars, you have to have it, right? All right. I apologize for some of the some of the audio on this, because it got muffled because my mic got misplaced. I'm always paranoid about it moving, and I completely forgot. So I'm not exactly sure where it left off, and I'm not going to re-record that stuff. I'll just try to fix the audio as best I can so it's at least audible for those. But I did decide to re-record at least the next steps here, which are my favorite records, Christmas records of all time. So we'll start off with Jackson 5 Christmas album. Such a great album. Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Such was it Up on the Rooftop? Yeah. Oh, Up on the Housetop is what they call it on this one. But so awesome, so fun. You can't help but smile when you listen to this one. It's so great. Next one, I think, is definitely a classic. I mean, not everything on it's great, but there are so many great songs on it that are really great, that are classics to me, that you can't help but have it in my top, and that is Muppets, John Denver and the Muppets Christmas. What is it called? A Christmas Together. I've got, this is an original, and this is a reissue. I think this reissue actually is a color. Yeah, it's green vinyl, as you can see here. I think just alone, 12 Days of Christmas on itself is worth the price of admission, if you will. But there's also several others. Christmas is Coming is a great song on this one, and Deck the Halls is pretty awesome too. Little Saint Nick. There's a lot of great songs on this album. So the next one, I don't know. I think you're just a bah humbug if you don't like this one, is all I have to say, because even if you don't like Christmas, I don't know how you can't like this. It's Dr. Seuss and How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And what's kind of cool about this one is side one is actually the audio from the show, and then side two is all the songs from the show, kind of taken out from the show itself. So this is a reissue. I don't know if I have an original I know I don't have an original, but yeah, this one's green. So Christmas albums, in my opinion, are the best when it comes to getting color variations, because I mean, if you got to have like a green or a red and green, or a red and white and green, or whatever Christmas record. I think it just makes them even that more special. So next one is one that I got right when I first started getting back into records, probably 15-ish years ago, maybe a little bit more than that. I really I was going to thrift stores all the time, and that's where a lot of these records that you're seeing came from. And this one is no exception. And it is definitely one of my favorites. I think it sounds really good as well. And I found when going through Christmas records, or just records in general at thrift stores, that there were a lot of different variations of this one. So I started just trying to collect every variation I could of it. And that is Merry Christmas by Johnny Mathis. So there's this one, which this is a mono, that the jacket is completely falling apart. This is actually another mono, probably in much, much better shape. I've got this one, which this was a Columbia, I'm guessing Columbia House, but it's a Columbia special product. So I'm guessing it's part of the music service, that the early days of Columbia House, maybe. But this is actually a mono one as well. It says it's distributed by Apex Rendezvous. Maybe some of you may know that. If you know anything about Apex Rendezvous, boy, try to say that right. Let me know in the comment section, because I'm not familiar with that. And then I have 3 different stereo versions of this, and I think they're 6i. Oh, no, that's not. Some of them are, though. I know that one was a later pressing, but like, yeah. Here is a 6i stereo. So I definitely have at least one, if not 2 6i's as well. I keep saying I apologize. No, actually, I appear to only have one 6i stereo. Um, so, anyways, so that's the Johnny Mathis. The next one, I think this one's probably, it's my second favorite of all times, but I started doing, I started finding a bunch of different variations of this one as well. When I was finding the Johnny Mathis ones, and I couldn't help resist finding them and trying to get all the different variations of this one as well, and that is Bing Crosby, A Merry Christmas. I love, love, love his voice. I love, love, love the songs on here. This is a new reissue, new-ish. I want to say it's probably, I don't know, 3-4 years old at most. This is actually a red and white split, which I gotta love. This is kind of my playing copy that I have. It's, I think it's the original mono mix. So before they kind of added a bunch of the reverb and tried to make it sound stereo, which the mono mix, if you're wanting to know, is definitely by far the best sounding. This is a early stereo. Basically, Decca is what they was originally released on. This is an early, like I said, early stereo version on the Decca label. This is a later one. If I had to venture a guess, it's probably, well, let's see what it is. This is probably 60s-ish. But black with the rainbow on it. Could be early 70s, but it's probably 60s or early 70s. This one, I'm guessing, is probably the newer. No, this is actually the same era. So may have to go through some of these and weed out the ones I don't want. Oh, this is an early Decca. This one I think is a mono one here. So, and this one is, I think, this is kind of my go-to in terms of sound quality, in terms of the one that's in the best shape of the original mono Decca version. Sounds spectacular. I digitized it and I listen to it all the time. It sounds so great. It's kind of one of the cool things about, especially these vintage Christmas records, I think one of the special things about these is just the fact that, records, I think, and Christmas kind of go hand in hand for me anyways, and I think that kind of adds a little bit of charm to these albums, listening to them with all the crackles and the pops and stuff, because it kind of reminds me of my younger days at Christmas time. So, okay, next one up. This one's such a great one as well. A lot of great songs on this, but it's basically Nat King Cole, the Christmas song. I know that like an audiophile version of this has come out recently, and I really should pick it up. I don't know if any of the copies I have are all that great sounding, so maybe picking up an audiophile version one might be worth it for me if it's not too crazy expensive. I haven't even priced them out, so I really couldn't tell you. This one is definitely my favorite Christmas record of all times, and I'm not sure if it's necessarily because it's got the best songs on it of all times, but it definitely does have a lot of great stuff on it, so don't get me wrong, but I think it's just because of the nostalgia factor. This one is one I definitely listened to the most at Christmas time when I was a kid. Listened to it again and again and again and again. I think I might even have the original one that my father had that I listened to all the time as a child. But it's Gene Autry, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Again, this is another one that I picked up a lot when I was going to thrift stores. So I've got a early stereo model, or stereo copy, I should say. Another relatively early stereo copy. This is a reissue. I don't know if it's color, hopefully it is, but no, it's not. It's just a traditional. But this is definitely, oh, this isn't actually a reissue. This is actually an original or early mono copy. This is the reissue. And let's see, is this one colored? Yeah, and I don't know why this doesn't have any inner sleeve, but anyways, it's a see-through red, which is awesome. And then this one, if this isn't in your Christmas collection of records, and if you have a collection of Christmas records, I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense, because it's not like they're not available everywhere. It's not like they haven't had tons and tons and tons of different variations of it. I know someone who lives nearby who I see every time a record store day, and he might be watching this Hi-Mat, has probably every variation that's known to exist out there, maybe. There was a UHQR Analog Productions version that just came out that I would love to have, but I don't think I'm going to spend the money on. But it's basically a Charlie Brown Christmas. I have two versions. My favorite one that's kind of my playing copy is a red and white split. I think there's probably, 60 different color variations that are out there now, and, maybe even cover color variations and things on that nature, but such a classic. Great Christmas show, great Christmas music, something that's just synonymous with Christmas as well. And last but certainly not least is this is a series of Christmas albums that have come out that I really, really like. I only have this one on vinyl, but I have the rest on CD, and that's a very special Christmas. There's one with a green cover, there's one with a gold cover, and then there's a jazz one that's blue, and then there's like a acoustic one, I think they call it, that's pretty good as well. But all of these are awesome. This is the one that started it all, and there's Run DMC, Christmas Time in Hollis. There's U2, Christmas, Baby Please Come Home, Madonna, Santa Baby, Bryan Adams, Run Rudolph Run. I think Bruce Springsteen's on. Yeah, Merry Christmas Baby is on here. I mean, all the songs on here are just amazing. The green one is probably equally as good, in my opinion. I think that one has Tom Petty and a few others. The gold one is very, very good. There's a couple of songs I really like on it. Maybe not quite at the same level as this one and the green one, but still very good. And the jazz one's great also. So that's an amazing one. But that is everything I have to show you. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed kind of putting it together and trying to categorize everything, and so I can show you what I have. Love to get your input on what you've got as maybe your favorites and ones that you don't see that maybe if I don't have any that I should have. Let me know about that in the comments maybe as well. But these are the ones I listen to. I don't listen to all of them. That's the one big problem. I've kind of slowed down on buying Christmas records just because I can't even listen to all of these at Christmas time anymore. There's just so many of them that I've amassed. So, but I try to listen to at least one new one that I haven't listened to in a while every Christmas season. So, and if there's great stuff that comes out from artists I really like, I try to get those as well every year. And there's definitely a lot of stuff out there that I know I've missed as well that I don't have. But and there's a lot on CD that I don't show here. Like one that's kind of a goofy one that I like listening to just for fun a lot there's a Ren and Stimpy one that's really fun. And there's a South Park one that's really, really fun. Neither one of those are ones that you really listen to as a traditional thing, but just if you want to just laugh, you put those ones on, like the South Park Mr. Hanky the Christmas Pooh is funny as hell. But the Ren and Stimpy one's really, really funny. Cat Hairballs is a great song. That's a really funny take on Jingle Bells. But anyway, I could probably sit here and talk for hours on this, and I don't want to have this go on for any longer than it already has because it's already super, super long. But I would love to hear your take. What are your favorite Christmas albums of all times? What are your favorite Christmas songs of all times? Leave those in the comments section here as well. If you liked what you saw here, hit that like button. If you subscribe, thank you. If you don't, please subscribe. I'd love to see some new subscribers. But that's everything I have for you for this holiday edition of True Audiophiles, the Christmas record edition, if you will. So I want you to have yourself a good rest of the week. Have a great day as well, too. But thank you very much.